अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाज़रीन मोहतरम कृषि दर्शन यानी जारी मंजरनामा है तुहंदिस खिदमतस मज हाजिर वस वन तुहद इस्तकबाल करान सनिस अजकिस प्रोग्रामस मज नाज़रीन मोहतरम सुकास्ट कश्मीर यानी जारी यूनिवर्सिटी श्रीनगर ये अकिस जमींदार सं पापरजोई बापत काम करान तत हाल हाल इंटरनेशनल एजुकेशनल फेयर 2023 यह जन सुकास्ट कश्मीरन मुनक़द कर यह तकरीब सपज नई दिल्ली हिंदिस सुषमा स्वराज भवनस मज मुनक़द यथ मन जन बहल पाई शख्सियत मौजूद यमन मज फॉरेन मिनिस्टर जयशंकर एग्रीकल्चर मिनिस्टर तो मरकजी तालीम हिंद वजीर तो डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह या जम्मू कश्मीर यूटी हिंद लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर तथ अटल डुल्लू साहब तो बे गैर मुल्की सफीर तो अम अलाव वाइस चांसलर सुकास्ट कश्मीर प्रोफेसर नजीर अहमद गनई साहब अत मौके पे मौजूद।
यह बैन अवी तलीमी मल सरसी मुल्कस मज पन्ने नवियत गोडनुक मल युथ मल वनुक ताम कुन मुनक़द करना आमुत अमे बैन अवी तलीमी मलुक मुद्दा व मकसद बैन अवी सतहस पे तालिब इल्म शेरी कश्मीर जरी यूनिवर्सिटी कश्मीरस मज तालीम हासिल करने खतर रागिब कर अत तकरीब पे मुख्तलिफ मुल्कन हंद सफीर तो नुमाइंद मरकजी वज़रा तालीम माहिर जरी साइंसदान तो वारियाह जी इज्जत मेहमान शामिल अत तालीम मलस मज मेहमान खसूसी वजीर खारजा हुकूमत हिंद डॉक्टर सुब्रमण्यम जयशंकर तो मेहमान जी वकारन मज वजीर तालीम हुकूमत हिंद धर्मेंद्र प्रधान वजीर ममलिकत साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह चेयरमैन इंडियन काउंसिल ऑफ कल्चरल रिसर्च Dr. Vinay Sarasbudhi Shamil.
I am very happy to announce that we are now being live telecast on the Doordarshan and more than 100 countries are watching us live. We begin with the national anthem, so I request all of you to kindly stand in reverence for the same.
तालीमी मलस मज शरीक तमाम मुअज़्ज़ज़ मेहमानन हुंद इस्तकबाल करान वन एडिशनल चीफ सेक्रेटरी तो फाइनेंशियल कमिश्नर J&K अटल ढलू साहबन।
Agriculture production and to ensure upgradation of agriculture education and research in the country. And most of these initiatives are futuristic, which seek infusion of capital, infusion of technology, skill development and better management practices. In Jammu and Kashmir, we have been trying to follow the vision set forth by the Honorable Prime Minister using regionally differentiated strategies. In Jammu Kashmir, there are several challenges being faced by the agriculture sector. Primarily, we find the situation of low average size of holdings of farmers. Almost 55% of our cultivable area is rain-fed, and there is an absence of value chains in agriculture sector. But there are many opportunities, and the opportunities are that there has been lot of diversification from crop sector to horticulture sector and livestock sector, and we have a distinct comparative advantage in various crops. For instance, apple, walnut, almonds, cherries, saffron, lavender, trout, wool, bivoltine silk, and most of these crops are high value crops. For decades we had been facing a situation in Jammu and Kashmir which can be called the vicious cycle of low growth. For example, there is low capital formation in agriculture, which leads to lower infusion of capital in the sector and lower infusion of modern technology and practices, inadequate skilling, suboptimal management practices, and the overall result is low total factor productivity, which again leads to low growth, and the cycle continues. So this is the vicious cycle of low growth.
शेरी कश्मीर जरी यूनिवर्सिटी मज तलब इलम तालीम हासिल करने खतर रागिब करान वोन जरी यूनिवर्सिटी हंद वाइस चांसलर प्रोफेसर नजीर अहमद गनाई साहबन.
Today's event is one such endeavor of the beautiful Himalayan state of Jammu and Kashmir, steered by Honorable Lieutenant Governor Shri Manoj Sinha ji, popularly known in our region as the Vikas Push, of transforming the young minds into the next gen global leaders. We are therefore here to invite the students from across the world to come to us for higher learning and be part of the journey of the growth of this great nation, which is fast growing and fast evolving into a modern nation. And we, of course, understand the myriad of the questions the student asks before he decides to go overseas. The first question a student would ask himself about the history, the culture, the tradition, the value system of that country, to get the right kind of the life and the social skills which are very fundamental for success in life of any student. The other questions which are very pertinent to a question going overseas are that about the quality of the education that institution offers, the quality of the research, the innovation ecosystem that university has in place, the ranking of the university, of course, the placement of the students, and very importantly about the relevance of the courses to that student in his country. And also one of the very important reasons for a student to choose a university overseas is the cost competitiveness of that particular course.
गैर मुल्की तालिब इलम ये पर्नावनस मज सिर्फ तालीमी माहौलस वथ बो पौध सपदान बल्कि तहजीब तो सकाफतुक तबादल सपदान. अमि कथ हज अहमियत बावन वोन चेयरमैन इंडियन काउंसिल ऑफ कल्चरल रिसर्च डॉक्टर विनय.
This particular function, I believe, marks the dawn of the development era in a more confident and robust manner, and it also marks resonance of the aspirations of next generation of Jammu and Kashmir. I believe that this particular event will go a long way in having many more foreign students coming to Jammu and Kashmir, and I'm happy that the organizers made Indian Council for Cultural Relations a partner in the conduct of this function. Foreign students coming to India and coming especially to Jammu and Kashmir is a proposition on which we all are working for several years, including the Indian Council for Cultural Relations. And as we know, students from other countries come to India in search of quality education, in search of diversity of knowledge areas, and of course, career opportunities.
कशीर हंस तवारीख तो तालीमी माहौल वसनावान फरमो लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर जम्मू कश्मीर श्री मनोज कुमार सिन्हा साहबन.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the first International Education Fair of Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology. Jammu Kashmir is crown jewel of India and embodies the eternal and universal values of our ageless culture. In the ancient past, Jammu Kashmir was known as Sarda Peeth, the seat of learning. For many of our guests from abroad, it is also famous as Switzerland of India, a paradise on earth and a confluence of all spiritual streams. For more than 3 decades, this serene land of intellectuals, historians, saints and Sufis. Today I can say with full confidence that the growth of Jammu Kashmir has not only accelerated, it has also become socially more inclusive and regionally more balanced. Under the guidance of Honorable Prime Minister We have taken a very wide range of decisions to accelerate the implementation of mega infrastructure projects, other development projects in health, agriculture, energy sector, reform the administrative system, and we have also created new knowledge infrastructure to transform Jammu Kashmir into a knowledge society. Over the past 3 years, we have focused on developing knowledge workers and their deployment in all sectors like industries, agriculture, and healthcare. Sincere efforts have been made to convert the knowledge dividends into wealth for process of innovation and growth. When in 2.5 years, Jammu Kashmir has become the champion in the country as far as online provision of public services, digital transactions, and use of internet by citizens are concerned.
शेर कश्मीर ज़र यूनिवर्सिटी हंदिस अथ बैनुल अक़वामी तालीमी मोलस मज आय अकि किताब हंस ते रस्म रोनुमाई अंजाम दिन। वज़ीर ममलिकत साइंस तो टेक्नोलॉजी हुकूमत हिंद डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह सोबन पय वारियाह नई फसल तो नई शोब चतस यमो पेट मुल्की क्यों गैर मुल्की तलब इल्म इस्तिफाद हेकन करित तो तिमो फरमो अथ मौकस पेट
This is indeed an auspicious occasion because we are celebrating this evening and celebrating ourselves for more than one reason. We are celebrating India's growth story as has been retreated time and again once after the other by all the speakers before me. We are at the same time also celebrating the renaissance that we are witnessing in Jammu and Kashmir. We are also celebrating the quantum jump in India's agriculture sector. And last, so now Professor Nazir would be getting the best of the talent which has its aptitude and heart in research, science, technology, innovation, not the ones who couldn't make it to the medical school, couldn't make it to civil services, couldn't make it to another avenue and then landed up there. So that is something to celebrate. And then as far as the agriculture sector is concerned, I think technology was there available in the world. It was only after the push given by Prime Minister Modi that we are now into a world of agri-tech technology, agri-tech startups. In the context of Jammu and Kashmir, because as students of science we have been taught not to deviate from theme and also speak with evidence. In the context of Jammu and Kashmir, I think what is most significant is which we are still not able to realize, the sooner we do so better it would be, that in the next 25 years, which the Prime Minister keeps calling as Amrit Kal, we have a very critical role to play. Because have you ever thought how we would reach that pedestal in 25 years? I mean, it sounds good, it sounds flattering saying so. But have you done a scientific indices of that? Where is that value addition going to come? Because when the entire resources get exhausted, the saturation points already reached from our western resources, from our southern resources, we would then be looking for the unexplored resources. And where are the unexplored resources? Unexplored resources in the Himalayas and unexplored resources in India's coastline, oceans. So I think the success and the future ascent of this institutional work that has been talked about in the last few minutes would depend on how best we can make use of the advantages available to us and how best we connect it to the age group of 30s and 40s who have the opportunity to work for the next 20-25 years so that when India turns 100 in 2047, they would have the pride to say, look here, I am the architect of Century India, and it was Professor Ganai who was the person responsible for my capacity building. If that is the ultimate goal, we would have achieved the objective of this evening's ceremony. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
शेरी कश्मीर ज़री यूनिवर्सिटी अत सत मुंसलिक तमाम लूकन मुबारक करान, खासकर वाइस चांसलर ज़री यूनिवर्सिटी प्रोफेसर नज़ीर अहमद गनाई सबस मच मच करान फरमो वज़ीर तालीम हुकूमत हिंद जनाब धर्मेंद्र प्रधान साहब जीएन।
I am glad to be part of this going global fair of this prestigious university. On the outset, let me congratulate. This has two meanings. What Government of India could not do it, Government of Jammu Kashmir has already executed that. I was talking to my senior colleague Jai Shankar ji. As a whole of government approach, Government of India should showcase its knowledge potential, scope, and knowledge repository to the entire global community to study in India. हम ऐसा ही नहीं कहते हैं जम्मू कश्मीर हमारा सिरमौर है, सारे कामों में जम्मू कश्मीर इज वे अहेड ऑफ इंडिया. Congratulations, Jammu Kashmir. This another aspect of this event is there is a normalcy in Jammu Kashmir. Due to decisive leadership of Prime Minister Modi and able administration of our LG, Sri Manoj Sinha ji, with all your efforts, Kashmir is on the track today. Kashmir always, Jammu Kashmir always shows the light to the country in all the aspects. In the handloom, handicraft, agriculture, medicinal plants, tourism, knowledge, literature, J&K is way ahead of the rest of the country. You all praiseworthy people, and today's function is on same direction. Friends, this Scotch University, Scotch Kashmir, and its another campus at sister campus at Jammu, 2 days program of Srinagar campus. And it's a coincidence. After some day, I'm confident the way India is unfolding, the entire world is eyeing towards India, towards its research, towards its innovation, towards its entrepreneurial skills. How do we manage ourselves? How do we manage ourselves during COVID crisis? How our student can come from the conflict zone to India? The entire globe is watching us keenly. So India's knowledge vertical is key to all such developments. And we are open to all part of globe. Now students from different countries are coming to India. With the National Education Policy 2020, we are giving much emphasis on internationalization.
बैन अवी तलीम इलमन शेर कश्मीर यूनिवर्सिटी मज तलीम खतर दावत दिनस पे मुबारक करान वन वजीर खारजा हुकूमत हिंद जनाब डॉक्टर एस जय शंकर साहब.
I must follow Dharmendra Pradhan ji really in complimenting Scotch Kashmir for this initiative. Because in the 4 years that I have been Minister of External Affairs, and the 3 years before that when I was Foreign Secretary, I've never had any university of any kind approach us saying, what do we do to get more foreign students here? So I not only appreciate this initiative, but I actually, like Dharmendra Pradhan ji said, I think this is an example for other universities. I hope others will follow suit. And if they do, I want to also assure them today that we will be as responsive as we are to all of you. Now, you all know that 4 years ago, a very big process of change started in Jammu and Kashmir. And that process of change was intended to ensure that the full benefits of development and progress
that the rest of India had seen for many, many years were also now completely available to the people, especially to the youth of Jammu and Kashmir, and that in that sense their being in the national mainstream was extremely important. But it wasn't just that. It was also by doing so, they would connect up with what the rest of India was connecting up, which was also to be part of the international mainstream. That what we saw with many other states and many other universities in other states, which was more international students being there and more of our students going out, it is something that we obviously would like to see in Jammu and Kashmir as well. And for me, this is not just an education event. It is not just an event of what do we do in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It is for me a very integral part of ensuring that a very important region of India is connected and I say this as a foreign minister, is connected to what is happening in the world. So this occasion is something which is for me of exceptional importance. Now you all know why education is important. Education is important because perhaps more than any other way, it is the path of mobility, it is the path of progress. You know, there are many of us, and I count myself, people who through education actually have come up in life. Now, education is not just a quest for knowledge. It is also a pathway of awareness, and again, in a globalized world, it is absolutely essential that the young people of India are fully aware of what is happening in the world, and there is no better way of knowing what is happening in the world than to have international students among you. It's obviously many years since I was a student. But I can tell you, I still remember at that time, there were very few international students in the universities those days. But I can still remember every one of the international students who studied with me. And somewhere, you know, they connected us up. You know, I'm now talking of the period when I was in JNU. There was a student in my time from Japan. Many, many years later, I went to Japan. And there were things that student had, you know, left in my memory in the interactions we had. And suddenly a lot of what he said came back to me. It came back to me as a way of connecting up with a place where I had just gone in with very little prior knowledge. So I see the purpose of getting more international students in our educational institutions as something hugely important, and I want to say again in this forum with the Education Minister present that we see this as a partnership between the Education Ministry and the Ministry of External Affairs, and it's our shared responsibility to ensure that this aspect of the new education policy succeeds fully. Now, where are we today? I would say, roughly speaking, for the last few years, we've had about, give or take, 25,000 international students in India. That's a very small number. It's a small number that does not do justice to our institutions, and it doesn't do justice to the world. We have today the ability to scale this up. We actually have an obligation to scale it up. And I say this because when I look at what we are doing with the world in other fields, India today has projects done or under delivery in 78 countries of the world. In 78 countries of the world. Just think, it's almost more than maybe 40% of the countries of the world. So if our relationships are so extensive, if our investments are so deep, if our networking is so good, we need to see that translated into a greater flow of international students to India. And that is why I'm particularly pleased today to see representatives of the diplomatic corps here today. And I would like to tell them that, part of our relationship building is also how do we grow the number of students, because students at the end of the day are the best investments that anybody can make. They, the difference that they can make. We have seen students, there are today people, I just came from Fiji, The Prime Minister of Fiji had, as a military officer, spent time in a course here. The President of Nigeria had done so. There are many places where I have seen people who have availed of our technical courses, of our professional courses, who have come here for some kind of training. But I believe that rather than catch them, I would say, later on in their career, it is much better for us that this relationship building start very much earlier, and I would certainly hope that we can find ways by which this outlook of ours, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it is also expressed in the field of education. The second, of course, is food processing. Again, food processing is an area where India itself is making rapid strides. We are also making strides as a exporter of food grains, of horticultural products, of agricultural products. So when we talk about the world being a family, when we talk about getting along, a global community, finally, to me, it's the practical side of it which matters. Today's function for me has two facets to that practicality. It is one facet is the educational vehicle which will build international cooperation. And the other facet is the agricultural science and technology, because it addresses a very, very important global need in a very, very effective way. So this brings both of them together, and it not only brings both of them together, it brings both of them together in a way in which it highlights a capability of an institution in Jammu and Kashmir. So I end once again by really today expressing my very deep appreciation that we have the opportunity of hosting you in this function at your initiative, and I hope to see many, many more of them in the coming days. Thank you very much.
नाज़रीन मोहतरम, सानिम प्रोग्राम यह कोशिश रोजान जे वातनाओ नौ नौ जानकारी तो तान ताकि तो सपदो मुस्तफीद। वनकस यह उम्मीद यह जन यकीन कि यह जन कॉन्फ्रेंस नई दिल्ली मज मुनक़िद सपज यह सपद पूरे मुल्क बापत खासकर सान जम्मू कश्मीर बापत फायदेमंद साबित। नाज़रीन मोहतरम, अगर जन तुह ये प्रोग्रामस मुतलिक कह राय या मशवरा तुम हेकि सह बजरे ईमेल अस तान वातनयित। सन ईमेल पता ddksrinagar@gmail.com, ब्याख पता ddksrinagar@yahoo.com। नाज़रीन मोहतरम, सान प्रोग्राम वक्त वोत अंद। दिव सरसी कृषि दर्शन टीमस इजाजत तो बिहु खुदायस हवाल।
दीदी